Om Sri Chinmaya Sadguruvai Namaha. Hari Om students. Welcome to today's online class. In today's class, I'm going to start our new lesson from social and political life as from SPL children based on the political life, political situations in our country. And today's concept is a chapter on equality. What is our first chapter in SPL? On equality. This concept entirely based on the discrimination in society on equality and what is the importance of equality, why we need equality in our society and in our. What is equality? Equality is the main pillar of Indian democracy. There is no doubt at all. Here, for all the people have provided equal opportunities and equal priority in our Indian democracy, so that our democracy runs based on the equality. What is democracy? What are the two types of democracy? Democracy is nothing but a form of government which is formed by representatives of people through the election procedure. So here the representatives of the people form the government, so that it is called as democracy. So this word democracy is derived from a Greek word demos and kratik. Demos means people and kratik means rule. So democracy means people's rule in one word. We have two types of democracy. One is direct democracy, another one is indirect democracy. In direct democracy, people are elected directly by the people, representatives elected directly by the people, so that it is called as direct democracy. In indirect democracy, the representatives are elected by the people indirectly, means people's representatives choose their representatives. For example, in our country, we are following direct democratic elections for Lok Sabha members, whereas for Rajya Sabha members, we are electing indirect method. That is what we call as indirect democracy. What is equality? Why it is important in a democracy? Equality. So all people in our country is equal. Everyone is eligible to get equal opportunities in society. Equal treatment is needed for each and every one person, irrespective of their gender, their caste, and their race, and their religion and region. Whomever it might be, all are equal in front of law and order. That is the main policy of democracy. Everyone is equal in India. In our society, mainly we observe that these type of inequalities. The first one is gender inequality. Equality is not what is best for some, but what is best for all. Equality is not what is best for some, but what is best for all the people. Means here equality is not only for few people, which is better to them, the few people, but equality means which is the best for all, so that in our democracy mainly we are following equality. Our government runs on the pillar of equality. So in all genders are equal. This is gender equality. So either male or female, both are equal in a democracy. The treatment given in regarding these opportunities equal for both the genders. To prove this statement, our democracy runs based on the equality. So this is the introduction page of our Indian Constitution, children. The preamble page. So what they clearly mentioned here, if you observe clearly, equality of status and of opportunities and to promote among them all. So in our preamble page of Constitution, they clearly mentioned that our government ensure equality of status, social status to the people of all communities and categories, religions, and equal opportunities for all the people, and to promote among them this all equality among the nation's citizens. That is the main concept of the Indian democracy. So they clearly mentioned here. They provide us equal justice to all, equal liberty to all, equality to all, and fraternal brotherhoodness among the people. They ensure in our preamble page. What is equality in one word? An ideal state where no kind of discrimination or no inequalities exist. That is what we call as equality. Ideal state where no kind of discrimination or inequalities exist. That is equality. Why is this equality important, children? Here is the answer. Because it is basic human right. Equality only promote the dignity of the, or promote the self-respect of the one citizen. Anyone, any caste, any gender, any religion, children here. It is a basic human right. Equality means basic human right of the people. So as a human, we are expecting some respect from our neighborhood, from our society. Yes or no? Yes. So it is our basic right. Equality is our basic right. It helps in ensuring wholesome development of every individual without any basis. So without any discrimination, this equality provides equal opportunity. I'm a female, I'm a male, or am a no, any particular religion. I'm a Hindu, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, but I am eligible to get my education. I'm eligible to get my job. I'm eligible to get my opportunities provided by the government, not by any individual. Yes or no? Yes, it is possible only because of the word equality mentioned in our Indian Constitution, children. And for a democratic and secular country like India, it is all the more important because it is a democratic country and a secular nation also. Secular nation means in our country any religion not promoted officially by the government of India. Anyone can propagate or process their own religion. There is no discrimination in the society. So that a vast country like India, equality is very, very important, children. So these are the main inequalities in our regular life, what we are observing in our daily life. First one is gender discrimination. Second one is biased judgment. Third one, caste inequalities, religious intolerance, difference between rich and poor, different attitude towards the minorities. So minorities means here minor in number, small in number in counting to the India population, and different treatment towards the disabled people and bonded labor. These all people are facing inequalities in our society. Gender discrimination, male and female, and based on the caste system, and religious discrimination, rich and poor, economic discrimination, discrimination towards the minorities. These are the main. So kinds of equality that should exist. Because of the word equality, we are getting all people, all genders, all religions are equal, equality before law, equal treatment of girls and boys. Nowadays every parent, they realize the importance of the girl child and they are giving equal treatment to both boys and girls, and it provides us our own religion in the form of secularism and equality of opportunity for all. So as I told, everyone will get the opportunity to get their education, to get their job opportunities based on their own talent and knowledge, children. Empathic attitude towards the disabled people. Now our government provided that equal priority for all the disabled people also, they're given more priority to give better opportunities for the disabled people. So now I'm going to discuss with about the lesson, what kind of discrimination are faced by different people in this lesson. Children, listen carefully. Key elements of democratic government. First one is people's participation. Second one is resolution of conflict, and third one is equality and justice for all. So because of these three elements, each and every nation, they want to form only democratic government, and which is advisable for every nation and which gives the better result in every nation. So that here people's participation in decision making, people's participation in the formation of the government, and resolution of conflict. If any conflicts are there between the citizens or between the governments, our supreme judiciary system will be there to resolve all those conflicts. And equal justice for all and equal opportunities for all, possible only in a democratic nation like India. Now coming to the lesson, children. India is a democratic country. Now I explained that what is meant by democracy. So what are the main objectives of democratic nation? And in the class 6 book, we looked at the key elements of a democratic government. These include people's participation, the resolution of conflict, and equality and justice. Equality is a key feature of democracy and influences all aspects of its functioning. So the main key feature of democracy is equality. In this chapter, you will read more about equality, what it is, why it is important in a democracy, and whether or not everyone is equal in India. Let's begin by looking at Kanta's story. So here one storyboard is waiting for you, children. Listen carefully, open your textbook and follow the textbook carefully. Here one person, Manjit Kaur, she is a teacher, and Teja Singh is a trader, and Girish Rao is a student, and Kanta Devi is a domestic worker, and Sujata Kumari also a domestic worker. Why these all people standing behind each other? Simply they are going to do something. So they are all standing in proper line. On election day, Kanta and her friend Sujata, Kanta Devi and Sujata both are domestic workers, and they are eagerly waiting to cast their votes, because in our democracy, every person has one vote. Every person has one vote. One person, one vote. And one vote has one value. Understood? So one person has one vote and one vote has one value. Either the person is a prime minister or president or a beggar or a student or an engineer, whomever it might be, each and every person gets only one vote. One vote has only one value. So that it is very, very important that to stand in a line only on the day of elections, not all the way. It's not good, Suja, what we can all vote as equal citizens of our country. Even Jain Sahib is standing in the line with us. So here behind them many traders are there, industrialists are there, all are standing in one line only on the day of election day for every 5 years. So that where we are observing this equality on the day of elections or at the government policies, like the way, so we are observing the equality, not in other ways. And here still Abdul Rahman is an artisan, and Shabnam now is a housewife, and Gracie Lalang is a consultant, and Isaac Lalang government officer, and here Ruxana Miza she's a media person, and Yograj unemployed person, and Ashok Jain industrialist. So Ashok Jain is an industrialist also standing in the same line where here Suja and Kanta standing. It shows us equality. All people are equal in front of law and order. Understood clearly? And see here, go on, Kanta, it's your turn now. I will vote for the candidate who has promised to bring pipe water to our area. So even we are the people here motivated towards the which government promises give better offers to us, to give better schemes to us, to give money distribution to the people, like schemes and subsidies to the people, giving more opportunities for people. We are interested to cast our vote for those only. But once we cast our vote, we have to wait and we have to obey the decisions made by the government which was chosen by us, whatever it may be. So nearly 5 years we have to wait to change the government, to take our turn once again. Yes or no? Because almost all the political parties, they are trying to motivate the people towards their own political party, so that they're giving different promises to the people. So here in the same way, Kanta also thinking about drinking water to their slum area, so that who promised her to to provide drinking water, pipe water to their area, she decided to cast her vote to the particular person. And we will see you later, Kanta. Yes, namaste Sahib. So here Ashok Jain is a industrialist, and here Kanta and Sujata working in their home only as maids. Gudiya has been running fever and I have to take her to the hospital, but I will have to finish the work at Sahib house and first and ask for some advance. Here Gudiya, daughter of the maid, and she want to take her to the government hospital, nearby government hospital only. After the completing the domestic work, she want to ask some advance there owner to get medicines for the child. Here have some of this, you will feel better, and when I get back in the evening we will go to the hospital, okay? Kanta saying to her daughter. And it's no wonder that Gudiya falls ill often, because the basti is never clean. See here, under the premises, unsanitized, no drinking water, no public toilets here, no personal toilets here. So almost all the garbage dumped, because she is a maid and she is not managing all the expenses to the family, so that she forced to stay in slum area with uh, little facilities to her. Understood, children? And here, make sure do the corners properly. So owner giving instructions to the Kanta. And again, here is your advance, Kanta, but don't make a habit of it. No, madam. So before she decided to ask some advance, she's giving, but she's given warning here. Don't ask me once again. Don't habituate for taking advance. Just few more minutes, Betty. Jain madam and Jain Sahib may stand in line to vote, but they never have to do it when their children are sick, because the rich people and those who have the money, commonly they are visiting the private hospitals, so they are paying high amounts, so that need not to wait for hours of time, need not to wait for running queues. Do you think Kanta has enough reason to doubt whether she really is equal? List 3 reasons from the story above that might make her feel like this. Here, they're asking us what are the main reasons. In this way, so while voting, while casting the vote, all people are standing in the same line, including Jain Sahib. But whereas coming to the hospitality, here Kanta standing in queues, whereas Jain Sahib they are going to the private hospitals. There is no doubt at all. Definitely she will get the doubt of equality. The story above begins with Kanta standing in a line to cast her vote. Look again at the various people who are standing in line with her. Kanta recognizes her employer. Jain Saab, Ashok Jain, and Chotelal, her neighbor. In democratic country like India, all adults, irrespective of what religion they belong to, how much education they have, what caste they are, or whether they are rich or poor, are allowed to vote. This, as you have already read in the class 6 book, is called universal adult franchise. What is meant by universal adult franchise? Universal adult franchise means the right to vote irrespective of their caste, gender, community, religion, region, race. Those who have completed the age of 18 years are eligible to cast their vote, what we called as universal adult franchise. The idea of universal adult franchise is based on the idea of equality because it states that every adult in a country, irrespective of their wealth and the communities she or he belongs to, has one vote. As I told, just if they completed the age of 18 years is enough, no need of their education, their wealth or their caste. So definitely they will get the opportunity of election, right to vote. Kanta is excited to vote and happy that she is equal to all of others because of each of them has one vote. But as her day goes on, Kanta becomes less certain about what this equality really means. Just she observed the equality only in the queue line of elections, not all the ways, in not all places. What is it that makes Kanta unsure? Let's take a look at a day in her life. She lives in a slum and has a drain behind her house. So most probably drain behind our house gives us more mosquitoes and dirty smell and other some pigs and all. Her daughter is sick but she cannot take the day off from work because she needs to borrow money from her employees to take her child to the doctor. Her job is domestic help tires her out and finally she ends her day by again standing in a long line. This line in front of the government hospital now. Morning in front of the election booth, evening in front of the government hospitals is unlike the one in the morning because most of the people standing in it are poor people. So most of the government hospitals visited by the poor people, rest of all people are going to the private hospital. So that is the main difference what she observed in her day. Universal adult franchise. This is the one of the most remarkable feature of Indian democracy is that from the very beginning the Constitution of India gave the citizens of the country universal adult franchise. This has enabled all the citizens of voting age to irrespective of caste, religion, wealth or sex, means gender. In many other democratic countries including United Kingdom and the United States of America, some sections of the population such as the poor and the women have got voting rights after long periods of struggle. But in our country, on the day of our Republic Day, so each and every person they will get the opportunity of universal adult franchise in many countries including in UK, USA, and the population, the poor people and women have struggled a lot to get the this universal adult suffrage. That is the importance of universal adult franchise, children. Article 326 of the Constitution of India provides universal adult suffrage. So in our Indian Constitution and Article 326, they given the clear-cut guidelines about our universal adult franchise to the people. The voting age has now come down from 21 to 18 at the starting of first general elections held in the year 1951-52 financial year in India. At that time, the age for all the people only 21 years. After that, they reduced the age to 18 years. Maturity is enough to choose their representatives. Anybody who has completed the age of 18 years irrespective of their caste, creed, sex, or religion, is eligible to vote in general elections. This is one of the most revolutionary aspects of Indian democracy, that is nothing but universal adult franchise. And other kinds of equality. And here I given one example to you in the Sabo storyboard, that is the story of Kanta. Kanta is one of many people who live in democratic India and who have the right to vote, but whose daily living and working conditions are far from equal. Yes or no? Apart from being poor, people in India experience inequality in different ways. Not only about the rich and poor discriminations, religious discriminations are there, gender discriminations are there. Let us see what this means by reading the two stories given below. Each of these is based on the real incidents in people's life and reflects the different kinds of inequalities that exist in India. So once you look at the picture here in your textbook only, children. So here Alliance invited for 32 years, MMS 5 feet 4 inches, fair, beautiful girl. She's working in an IT company of Mumbai from BE, Bachelor of Engineering, or MBA boy working in Mumbai abroad from IT industry. They need for the marriages. Caste no bar here. SC, ST, excuse, send behavior. Other than SC and ST, they can apply for this one. Next one, qualified beautiful tall girl for Gupta boy, 28 years, 6 feet, CA. He is working in MNC company, Texas, USA. $80,000 per month he is earning in Texas. So he needs one beautiful girl. And Tamil Brahmin, Iyengar family. Iyengar groom. He was born in 1981 and Naituva Kashyapa Gotram also given here. Next star is Swati star. Height is 180 centimeters tall. Fair. So they need one bride. So if you see here, circle the reference to caste in the matrimony advertisements given in the box. So see here, even particularly, especially at the time of marriages, our parents very particular about the caste and very particular about the religion. So there is no compromise here. Here we observe one kind of the inequalities. So many of parents, they are ready to spoil the life of the children because of these discriminations in the society. Many happening in our country still. And one of the more common forms of inequality in India is the caste system. If you live in rural India, your caste identity is something that you probably learned or experienced very young. So in our rural India, in villages especially, these type of caste discriminations are more. So if you observe earlier, in especially still today also, some people in Gujarat, they are trying to kill the people if they are try to fetch water from the wells of the upper communities. In still some places in rural areas, before entering the house, the maids have to leave the food, their chappals or footwear outside of the door only. So still these things are going on in our rural areas. If anybody want water, just we are pouring waters in their hands. We are not giving our water bottle, we are not giving our tumbler to their hands. Still is going on in our rural India. These all caste discriminations are common in our country, which is embarrassing to us. And if you live in urban India, some of you might think that people no longer believe in caste because so many of the people are living in apartments. There is no maximum people have the own houses, so that they are adjusting for all. There is no particular identification of caste system, especially in towns and cities. They are not particular about the caste system. Here, my intention is not blaming any. So these all, or to avoid this all discriminations, our government provided, our Indian democracy clearly mentioned about the equality, equal identification for all the people. And but just look at this matrimonial shown from a leading English newspaper, and you will see how important caste continues to be in the minds of highly educated urban Indians. See, what is the qualification here? They need MMS, they need BE and MBA, and here CA, and here also Tamil Brahmin, and their education not mentioned, but they need a particular fair, and they are very particular about their star, everything. So professionally qualified young minds also thinking about the caste particularly. One story here, that is, now let us read a story about the experiences of a Dalit child attending school. You have already read about Dalits in the class 6 book. Dalit is a term that the so-called lower caste used to address themselves. Dalit means nothing but broken, and by using this word, lower castes are pointing to how they were and continue to be seriously discriminated against about Dalits. So, especially in olden days, where we have the caste discriminations takes place in olden days before the independence, then the people of Dalits, they migrated from the main society. Not migrated, we have to use the word. Those people elevated from the society by the upper community and the rich people. And here exactly the person Om Prakash Valmiki is a famous Dalit writer. In his autobiography, Jutan, this is Jutan, he wrote that I had to sit away from the others in the class. Like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he never allowed into the classroom to get his education. And that too on the floor. The mat ran out before reaching the spot I sat on outside of the door, on doormat where we are leaving our chappals or shoes. He is supposed to be sit on that mat. Sometimes I would have to sit way behind everybody, right near the door. Sometimes they would beat me without any reason. When he was in class 4, the headmaster asked Om Prakash to sweep the school and the playground. He writes the playground was way larger than my small physique could handle, and in cleaning it, my back began to ache. My face was covered with dust. Dust had gone inside my mouth. See here, children. He's just fourth class is not more than 9 or 10 years. He's supposed to sweep entire playground. How big our playground is. So it is possible to clean by a fourth class boy, a small boy. So that, but he was forced by the headmaster. There is no alternate to him. So he's trying to clean, but his back began to pain and his face fully covered with dust. So dust had gone in his inside of the mouth also. How petty that is, by work done by the society at that time.
Om Prakash Valmiki. Om Prakash belonged to the Dalit caste. He was treated very badly in school. He was not given the rights other boys of upper castes enjoyed. He was made to sit on the floor when others sat on a mat. He was made to sweep the school and the playground when other boys were studying in the classroom. In spite of all these insults and differences shown to him, Om Prakash became a famous writer. He has written about his experiences as a Dalit in his autobiography Jutan.
So have you observed the video, children? So rest of all the children are studying in the classrooms, but only Om Prakash Valmiki, due to the reason he belongs to Dalit family, he forced to sweep the playground. The other children in my class were studying and I was sweeping. Headmaster was sitting in his room and watching me. I was not even allowed to get a drink of water. So he's not allowed to drink water also. He's getting sweat and his hands are paining, his back is paining. But even though headmaster not allowed him to take water. I swept the whole day From the doors and windows of the schoolrooms, the eyes of the teachers and the boys saw this spectacle. Om Prakash was made to sweep the school and the playground for the next couple of days. And this only came to an end when his father, who happened to be passing by, saw his son sweeping. So what happened after 3 days? The father of the Om Prakash Valmiki saw him while he is sweeping the playground, and he get angry and immediately entered into the principal's room and asked. He confronted the teachers, and then walking away from the school holding Om Prakash's hand, he said loudly for all of them to hear, "You are a teacher, so I am leaving you. Now, but remember this much, master. He will study right here in this school, and not just him, but there will be more coming after him." So with the inspiration of Om Prakash Valmiki, so rest of all the children of Dalit family are interesting to learn education in this school only. Then what will you do? The question posed by the father of Om Prakash Valmiki to the teachers of the school. Why do you think Om Prakash Valmiki was being treated unequally by his teacher and his classmates' children? Imagine yourself as Om Prakash Valmiki and write 4 lines about how you would feel if you were in the same situation as him. Just imaginary story here. Try to write not more than 4 or 5 lines here. So this is one discriminated story of Om Prakash Valmiki. The first story, Kanta story, the discrimination based on the economic status. And the second story, Om Prakash Valmiki, discrimination based on the caste. Now, here the third story, discrimination based on what? Look at here. Here the story is based on an incident that took place in one of India's largest cities and is common practice in most parts of the country. It is a story about Mr. and Mrs. Ansari who were looking to rent an apartment in the city. They had the money, and so paying the rent was no problem to them. They went to a property dealer for help to find a place. The dealer informed them that he knew about quite a few apartments that were available for rent. They visited the first apartment, and the Ansaris liked it very much and decided to take it for rent. But however, when the landlady found out their names, Ansari, she made an excuse about how she could not rent the house to someone who ate meat because the building did not have any non-vegetarian residents. Look here. So here Ansaris, they are eating meat, and that apartment is belongs to the Brahmins or some other caste or other Hindus, those who are not eating any meat. Understood? So here is simply that landlady was refused to give their apartment for rent because these people are eating non-vegetarian, and even though there is no non-vegetarian residents in that apartment, it seems. Both the Ansaris and the property dealer were surprised to hear this because they could smell fish being cooked in the neighbor's house. Just now, they smell fish cooking smell in their neighbor house only. But the same excuse was repeated in the second and the third apartments also. But the intention is they are not interested to give the Ansari families, that's it. Finally, the property dealer told them that they might want to change their names and call themselves Mr. and Mrs. Kumar. So he advised that this entire area is related to the Hindus, so that you have to convert your name as the Hindu names Mr. and Mrs. Kumar. Ansaris were reluctant to do this and decided to look some more. In the end, it took a whole month of looking at apartments before they found a landlady who was willing to give them a place on rent. So finally, after 1 month, so they're able to get the land for rent for their house. So what is the discrimination here we observe, children? Here we observe the discrimination based on the religion. Based on the religion. Here one question is for you. Why do you think the Ansaris were being treated unequally? What would you do if you were in the Ansaris position and could not find a place to live because some people did not want to live next to it because of the religion you practice? So that try to answer this question, children.
In this module, you will learn about equality in Indian democracy. Article 15 of the Indian Constitution guarantees equality to all the citizens of India. It also states that no individual can be discriminated on the basis of their religion, race, caste, place of birth, or gender. Further, it abolishes untouchability and assures every individual equal access to all public places. The Constitution also grants all adults the right to vote, irrespective of their caste, education, wealth, and religion, also known as Universal Adult Franchise. There are many laws that help protect people from being treated unequally. There are also several government-initiated programs and schemes to improve the lives of people who have been ill-treated for several centuries. One such program is the Midday Meal Scheme, where lunch is provided to students of government elementary schools. Equality can be achieved only when we change our attitude and treat every individual with respect and dignity. However, in our everyday life, we come across many incidents that make us wonder if equality actually exists in our country. For example, government hospitals in India are mostly visited by the poor, and even when critically ill, they have no choice but to stand in long queues. Due to their poor economic background, these people cannot afford the high fees charged by private hospitals, and so they experience inequality. Apart from economic background, people are sometimes treated unequally on the basis of their religion, gender, and caste. For instance, people belonging to minority communities often face problems in getting a house in the locality of their choice. Women too are paid less than their male counterparts for the same job. For example, female players in national and international tennis or cricket matches are paid much less than their male counterparts. A famous Dalit writer, Om Prakash Valmiki, wrote about caste-based discriminations faced by him in his autobiography, Jutan. Valmiki was made to sit on the floor of the classroom and was beaten up many times without any reason. He was also made to sweep the school playground because of his caste. This discrimination on the basis of religion, gender, and caste hurts the dignity and self-respect of an individual. Surprisingly, India is not the only country that has struggled for equality. In the United States, the Afro-Americans were treated unequally for many years. When traveling in public buses, they either had to sit at the back or give their seat to a white person. In 1955, Rosa Parks, an Afro-American, refused to give up her seat on a bus to a white man. Her defiant act resulted in agitations and led to the Civil Rights Movement. Later, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was implemented, which prohibited discrimination on the basis of religion, race, or national origin. Although our government is trying to bring in equality amongst people, there are still several communities that are struggling to maintain their dignity and equality in society. We have now reached the end of this module on equality in India. In this module, we learned that
Hello children, thank you very much. That is briefly about inequalities that held in our society, in our neighborhood, in our country. So that try to avoid discrimination and follow equality for all. And thank you very much. We will meet in the next class. Hello children.